This is Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
The following presentation on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, is being brought to you by Hood Canal Communications, committed to providing quality services that exceed customer expectations in voice, video, data, and customer service, keeping our community connected since 1934. Mason County Public Health and Human Services Prevention Education Partners Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition. Mason PUD 3, connecting our community with safe, reliable, economical, and sustainable services 24/7. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate. When it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge. Mason County Public Utility District Number 1, Washington State's first public utility district, proudly serving the Hood Canal in Mason County since 1935. And Mason Health, united community, empowered people, exceptional health. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the baseball field on the North Mason School District campus in Belfair, Washington. Today, Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, continues coverage of high school spring sports with Olympic League baseball featuring the Port Angeles Roughriders and the North Mason Bulldogs. My name is Diedrich Allen. This is the second time North Mason and Port Angeles have played this season. The first game was yesterday with the Roughriders holding the Bulldogs to 2 hits and blanking the boys from Belfair 8-0. We're starting a little early today, based on forecasted weather. Both teams are 1-1 on the young season, and Port Angeles has won the last 14 games against North Mason. The last Bulldog win over the Riders was a 1-0 on March 31st, 2017, and we will try to get you the lineups when we get a chance. But leading things off for the Riders is Alex Angevine. Takes a pitch on the outside for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes to lead things off. Boston Stanley on the hill for the Bulldogs. Battery mate is Calvin Rice. Here's second pitch on the way. There's a fly ball center field. Getting back and going over, dropping in over the center fielder's head. That's Atencio, as Angevine has a leadoff double. So 1 on, and here comes number 22, Cody Williams. Cody is playing right field today. And then they're going to pick him off there. Is that right? No, they are not. I thought they picked him off, but I don't know how they could do that, as Angevine, who is the shortstop for the Riders, is on second base. So 1 on and nobody out. Second batter again is Cody Williams. Here's Stanley with the next pitch, or the first pitch to Williams is low for ball 1. So one ball, no strikes. Next pitch on the way. Outside corner for strike 1 called, so 1-1 to count. And here we go with the 1-1 pitch. 1 on, nobody out for the Riders, just underway. It's going to be low for ball number 2. 2 balls, 1 strike to Angevine. All right, here is the 2-1. There's a fly ball center field. It's center left on the run, and dropping in, however, is the ball and heading to third base is going to be Angevine, and Williams is on first, so runners at the corners for the Riders. And that will bring up Luke Floodstrom, the catcher for the Riders, number 3. And I'm trying to figure out what I did with everything. And here's the pitch on the way. That's going to be a strike, and runner goes. Throw to second, however, not in time, and the runner comes from third and comes in, and Angelby scores the first run of the ball game. It was 1-0, Port Angeles. The runner at second base. Here's the 0-1. Strike 2 called, so 0-2. Nobody out, 1 on, 1 in for the Riders for Port Angeles, leading 1-0 here. Top of the first inning. On deck will be Politica. Here's the next pitch on the way. That's going to be strike 3 in the first strikeout of the ball game and the first out. 1 away, 1 on, 1 in for Port Angeles here in the top of the first inning. Politica yesterday was 0 for 2, walked once, and got an RBI in this matchup in Port Angeles. Again, 1 in, 1 on, 1 out. Runner at second base. Too many devices, and I do miss Jerry. So no Jerry today. Here is the pitch on the way. High. Going to be about 1 ball, no strikes to Politica. Your next pitch is high for ball 2. So 2 balls, no strikes. Again, 1-0 ball game, just underway. Williams is at second base. Pitch on the way. A swing and a miss for strike 1. So 2 balls, 1 strike to Politica at bat. And here is the next pitch on the way. It's going to be bouncing in there. Good stop by Rice for ball 3. So 3 balls, 1 strike to Politica. Again, now 1 out, 1 on, 1 in. 1-0 ball game here. Top of the first inning. We started a little early today. Just trying to get this ball game in before the weather comes in. Around 5:30 is what we're told. We'll see what we have here. Stanley looks back at second. Here goes the pitch. Strike 2 called, so bound is full to Politica. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on, 1 in for Port Angeles here. Top of the first, 1-0 our score. Pitch on the way. Outside corner, strike 3 called, and that's out number 2. 2 away for Port Angeles. Brings up we got Jordan Shumway. He'll swing and pop one up in foul territory. Rice under it, trying to gauge it, and it'll be out. Nope, he'll drop it actually out of his glove for strike 1. So 0-1. See, Jordy was 0 for 3, walked once, did get credited for an RBI, and scored a run in yesterday's game. That was an 8-0 ball game. So So 2 away, 1 on, 1 in for Port Angeles. Williams at second base. There's strike 2 called. So 0-2. To Shumway. There's a pitch on the way. Swing and a pop up out of play over our heads. And the count remains no balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 1 on, 1 in. Give you that lineup here. As Rice heads out for a little meeting on the mind, we'll give you the rundown for the Bulldogs. Caden Atencio, he's in center field. Boston Stanley, obviously the pitcher. Dylan Prideaux is at third base. Catcher's Calvin Rice. Shortstop, Shoemaker. Right field, Kelly Fiore. Zabrakov over at first base. Jones is in left field. And Ringstad is at second base. That's your defense for the Bulldogs. Pitch on the way, outside, ball 1. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 out, 1 on, 1 in. Cody Williams over at second base. He did bat in Alex Angevine for the 1 run. Angevine led off the ball game with a double. Here's the 1-2 from Stanley. Inside, ball 2. 2-2 the count. Stanley shakes off one sign, waits for the next one, and likes that one. Here comes the 2-2 pitch from Stanley to Shumway. Check swing, low, ball 3, so the count goes full. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 1 on, 1 in. For Port Angeles, top of the first 1-0 is our score. Got that right. Williams takes his lead at second base. Here's the pitch on the way, high, and that's ball 4. So Shumway heads to first base, so runners at first and second for the Riders. And that will bring up number 1, Nathan Baston. He is playing, where is he? He's playing left field, if I'm right. Yeah, left field. And he was 2 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs yesterday. So 2 on, 2 out, 1 in. Pitch on the way. Ground ball right to Ringstad. He'll scoop it up, throw over to first, and Zabrakov records the out. And that will do it for the Riders, but they do get 1, leave 2. We head to the bottom of the first, 1-0 Port Angeles. This is Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
What is fiber internet? We could bore you with the technical details, or we could tell you it's just internet. Internet that can do whatever you need. Crystal clear video chats with the family, smooth streaming of your favorite shows, uploading a ton of vacation photos in an instant. Even all of the above, all at once. Switch to fiber internet from Hood Canal Communications today and get $25 off your first 4 months of gig speed service. Visit hcc.net or call 360-898-2481.
With all the question marks and uncertainty that surrounds today's real estate market, it is nice to know that there is a local team that has the experience with all types of markets to ensure you make a sound decision, whether selling or buying. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate has been a staple in the Mason County community for over 40 years. Feel free to reach out to Jeff, Andy, Chrissy, or Laura with any real estate questions that you may have. When it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge.
Bottom of the first inning. You're back here in Belfair. 1-0. Port Angeles gets a 1 run, so the Bulldogs are going to come up, and they will send up Atencio, Stanley, and Prideaux to lead things off here. The The Riders, their starting pitcher is Braden Martin. Let's see if I have any information on Martin. He did pitch 2 innings versus Ingram on March 15th. Gave up 6 runs, 2 earned, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts in his outing there. He gets to start today. His battery mate is Floodstrom. He's behind home plate. And here is Caden Atencio. And Caden is wearing number 5 today. Was 0 for 3 and struck out twice yesterday. So we are headed to the bottom of the first, 1-0 in the Bulldogs. Their first up at bat. And here's Atencio with first pitch from Martin. Right down the middle of the plate for strike 1. So 1-1 to Atencio. Center fielder. Here's the 0-1 from Martin. Swinging, that one's fouled straight back. Glad my camera's not over there. That came back with authority. So 0-2. So Atencio is off behind on the count here, leading things off for the Bulldogs in the bottom of the first inning, trailing 1-0. Here's the kick and the throw from Martin. In there for strike 3, and that is out number 1 for North Mason. So 1 down. And here's Boston Stanley. Boston was 1 for 2, had a double, walked once, and he struck out once in his at-bats against Port Angeles yesterday. His starting pitcher today, obviously, as he's the second hitter for North Mason. Here's the kick and the throw. Ooh, gets dropped in there for strike 1, called, so 0-1. It's Stanley. 1 out, nobody on, in a 1-0 ball game. Port Angeles with the lead, North Mason at-bat. Martin with a throw. That was a bit high, so ball 1. So 1-1 to Stanley. Here's the next pitch on the way. A swing and a line drive. That's going to go straight up the middle into center field. Shumway with the ball. Shallow center. They'll throw it in, and Stanley's on first base with 1 out. And that will bring up Dylan Prideaux, who was 0 for 3 and struck out twice yesterday. And Prideaux is playing third base today. So 1 on, 1 out for North Mason, trailing 1-0 here, bottom of the first inning. Trying to get this game in before the weather comes in about 5:30. Here's a pitch on the way, a swing and a miss by Prideaux. So 1-1. Again, Stanley's over there at first base for the Bulldogs. Martin taking his time. Here's the pitch on the way. It's high. Oh, but it hit the zone, came down and hit the strike zone for strike 2. So 0-2. Again, 1 out and 1 on in a 1-0 ball game. Port Angeles with the lead. North Mason at bat. On deck is Calvin Rice, the catcher. Here's a pitch to Prideaux. That's high for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. To Dylan Prideaux. From Braden Martin. Is that even right? Hold on a second. I'm going to check that. Oh, it is. All right. And he hit him at the knees there for out number 2. So 2 down and 1 on. And here is Calvin Rice. And Calvin, 0 for 3 yesterday against these Roughriders. So Stanley over at the first base, pitch on the way, and foul straight back towards our camera. Wow. Yeah, that'll be strike 1. So no balls and 1 strike to Rice with 1 on and 2 out for North Mason. Getting into the rhythm. I'm doing yeoman's job, I guess you could say, all by myself. Stanley takes his lead at first. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and fly out of play over everybody's heads. 0-2. to Rice. Should Rice reach? Shortstop Shoemaker will be on deck. That's Reed Shoemaker. Should Rice reach? Right now he's behind in the count 0-2 against Stanley over there at first base. Waiting for the next offering from Martin. Here's a pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, and that'll do it for the Bulldogs here in their half of the first. We head to the second. 1-0 Port Angeles. Coming up, it's Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
An important safety reminder from Mason PUD3. Please never touch a downed power line. If a power line falls on your vehicle, stay inside and call 911. Tell others to stay back. Wait for emergency personnel. Never touch anyone or anything in contact with a downed power line. Always stay at least 100 feet away. Never use an object to move a downed wire. Don't remove trees or limbs near a downed line. Electricity travels through ground, trees, branches, and more. It's not safe. If you see a downed line, call PUD3 at 360-426-8255.
Kids learn by watching adults, so consume cannabis out of sight of young people. And be a Mason County kid's greatest influence. Brought to you by Mason County Public Health and the Mason County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition.
This presentation on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, is being brought to you by Mason County Public Utility District Number 1, Washington State's first public utility district, proudly serving the Hood Canal in Mason County since 1935.
Headed to the second inning to play. 1-0 Port Angeles with the lead in coming up. As the Bulldogs left a guy out there. Got one hit and a couple of strikeouts. And that will that did it for the Bulldogs in their half the first. But the second inning, leading things off will be number 18, Trey Hannon. He's a designated hitter today. He'll be followed by Josiah Gooding. Shortstop? No, third base. Sorry. Well, all right. What am I doing here? Yeah, it's third base. And Bryce DeLeon, who is second base. Those are the guys due up for the Riders here. And the first one up, of course, is number 18, the designated hitter, Trey Hannon. Takes ball one. So 1 ball, no strikes. The leadoff batter here in the second. 1-0 ball game. Pitch on the way. That's going to be just a bit low for ball 2. Let's talk about what Trey did. He was 0 for 1 yesterday against these Bulldogs in Port Angeles. Here's the 2-0 from Stanley. Check swing. There's strike 1 called. So 2-1 to Hannon. DH today. Step back in. Wait for the 2-1 from Stanley. Pitch on the way, and that one's going to be fouled off of everybody's legs, and that's evens the count at 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dan and waiting. Home plate umpire wants more baseballs. Now settle in for a 2-2. Leadoff batter for Port Angeles here in the second inning. They're leading 1-0. Here's the pitch from Stanley. Swing and strike 3. And that will bring up the third baseman. And Josiah Gooding with 1 down, nobody on. First pitch to Gooding is a ball. And let's see here, Gooding was 0 for 2, struck out twice yesterday. There's a strike, so 1-1 to count. to Gooding. Here's the next offering from Stanley. Here's a ground ball. It's going to be scooped up by Shoemaker. Throw over to first on a hop, and they got him to first base. So 2 down for the Roughriders here in the second inning. And here is Nathan Baston playing left field, and let's see, where is he? He was 2 for 3 with a double and 3 RBI yesterday. And that 8-0 win. So here's first pitch. He shows bunt. He'll bunt it and leave right there in front of the plate. Rice picks it up, throws over to first. Did he beat him? Yes, he did. 1, 2, 3, go. The Roughriders here in their half of the first. We head to the bottom of the frame. 1-0 Port Angeles, North Mason coming up. This Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
What is gig speed internet? We could bore you with the technical details, or we could tell you that it's marathoning movies on your favorite streaming service with no interruptions, or having the grandkids over and not hearing a single complaint about your Wi-Fi. In other words, it's just what you needed. Switch to gig speed internet from Hood Canal Communications today and get $25 off your first 4 months. Visit hcc.net or call 360-898-2481.
Mason County is a very special place. When you're looking for sound real estate advice, pick the team that has called Mason County home for 5 generations. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate is always thrilled to help you buy or sell real estate in our area. Whether it is Hood Canal, Harstein Island, Matlock, Tahuya, South Puget Sound, or Shelton, the Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate has the experience you can trust. Remember, when it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge.
Most correct myself. The last batter for Port Angeles was identified wrong by me. It is number 6, and it's Bryce DeLeon. DeLeon, who was, he grounded out to start the inning. But here is the Bulldogs coming up to bat, trailing 1-0 and leading things off. Will be Shoemaker. He pops one out into right field, and over there to get it is Williams, and that'll be 1 pitch, 1 out for the Bulldogs here in their bottom of the second inning. Let's get all that right. And that'll bring up Polly Califiore. Number 1. It's 1 for 1. Hit a double. Takes ball 1. So 1 away and nobody on for the Bulldogs here. Bottom of the second. Next pitch on the way from Martin, a little bit high for ball 2. So 2 balls, no strikes to Califiore or Polly. Next pitch is, well, that looked like a good pitch, but it's a ball 3 called. So 3 balls, no strikes, 1 out, nobody on for North Mason. Mark gets a signing once. Here's the stretch, the kick, and the throw. That's a strike right down the middle of the plate. He got the location he wanted that time, so with 3 balls and 1 strike to Califiore. Polly steps back in. Waiting for the next offering from Martin. Pitch on the way. Strike again. That was the same pitch as the last time. Fastball down the middle of the plate, and the count goes full for Polly Califiore. Califiore. Boy. Here's the full count. Pitch. That's going to be a ball, and Polly Califiore heads to first base for the Bulldogs. And that'll bring up Kingston Sabrekov, the first baseman. And Kingston was 0 for 3, struck out once yesterday. Here's next pitch on the way. Swing and a fly ball. That's going out of play. Nobody can get to it. So it's strike one. So 0-1 to Kingston Sabrekov with Califiore over on first base. Pitch on the way. Swing, that one is going to be fouled off. Did that hit him? I don't think it did. That's going to be come on. Strike two. So 0-2 to Sabrekov. Califiore takes a lead there at first base. One away in a 1-0 ball game. Martin kind of glances over at first base. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing, and that one's fouled off. Whew. Game changer camera out there. Almost took a hit there. This is why my camera's a little off center. Doesn't mean it won't get hit, but it's just a little off the center. And it is still 0-2 to Sabrekov. Pitch on the way, outside, throw to first. Califiore's going to go for second, and they're going to get him on the tag out. And that'll be 2 away. So 2 down for North Mason here. And the batter remains Kingston Sabrekov with a ball and 2 strikes on him. 2 down. Nobody on now for the Bulldogs. Here's the pitch on the way to Sabrekov. That's going to be high in ball 2. So 2-2 the count. Here's the 2-2. Outside, and the count goes full again. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Nobody on for North Mason. As Kingston Sabrekov steps back in. Waiting for the next pitch. Here comes. Swing, and that one's foul. Straight back. Count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes to Kingston Sabrekov. Danner Jones on deck should Sabrekov reach. Here's a 3-2 from Martin. Fastball is popped up, playable in foul territory. And then on the run right there is Politica, and that will end the inning. So the Bulldogs sitting 4 batters up, but they... 3 batters up. And we head to the 3rd inning. 1-0 Port Angeles on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works, and it's how we do business at Hood Canal Communications. We know you count on us for value-priced internet, TV, and phone service, backed by friendly local support. Your hard-earned dollars stay right here as we invest in our community, our people, and smart technology. Hood Canal Communications, keeping our community connected while being a good neighbor.
Mason County is a very special place. When you're looking for sound real estate advice, pick the team that has called Mason County home for 5 generations. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate is always thrilled to help you buy or sell real estate in our area. Whether it is Hood Canal, Harstein Island, Matlock, Tahuya, South Puget Sound, or Shelton, the Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate has the experience you can trust. Remember, when it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge.
And we head to the 3rd inning of play here. Turn some things off here. And it's still 1-0 Port Angeles. Now let's see here, leading things off. It'll be Alex Angevine. He led off the game with a double. And then he did score the game's only run. So he's going to lead things off for Port Angeles. We can duplicate what he did last time. First pitch in there for strike one. Little curveball dropped in for strike one. And we're waiting for the next pitch on the way. Ground ball, foul. Just off the third base line. So it's 0-2. And Jemine behind in the count here early. Leading things off here in the third. Again, he did have that double and scored a run. The only run so far in the ball game. Stanley into his windup and a pitch on the way, and there's a fly ball. That's going to out there. Nice run by California on the run out there in right field, and that is out number one. I thought that was going to drop in, but California made it over there in time to record the out. So one away. And here is Williams. Batted in. Had the RBI. Batted in the only run here. And his first at bat. First pitch to him from Stanley. Inside, ball one. And there's the next pitch on the way. That one's going to be ball two in the dirt. There's dirt here because it's a grass field, natural turf here, not like the other field we usually go for. Or broadcast from, I should say. Luke Floodstrom on deck. One out. And here's a 2-0 pitch to Williams. Pitch on the way. That's going to be strike at the knees for two. It's now 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the kick and the throw. Outside for ball 3, so 3 balls and 1 strike to Williams. Here's next pitch on the way. That's going to be, well, it's going to hit Williams, so he'll head to first base. So 1 on and 1 out for the Riders here. And that'll bring up a Floodstrom. He did bat in the only run on a single in the first inning. Watching people set up tents as the weather going to start coming in here soon. That's what we're saying. It'll probably be about 5 o'clock, 5:30. Bringing up their tents. I managed to do it by myself. Here's a pitch on the way. Oh, just hit that outside corner for strike 1. To Floodstrom. Politica on deck for the Riders, leading 1-0. 1 out, 1 on. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to Floodstrom. Here's the pitch on the way. Going to be just a bit outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out, 1 on for Port Angeles here. Here's a pitch on the way. That one's popped up. And coming over to make the grab is Ringstad, and that's 2 down for the Riders here in the third inning. And that brings up number 10, Rylan Politica. Getting one on, 2 out now for Port Angeles, leading 1-0. Pitch on the way, outside corner, strike 1 called. A lot of chatter coming out of that first base dugout. That one's fouled over the third base dugout for strike 2. So 0-2 to Politica, the first baseman for Port Angeles. Riders leading 1-0 here, top of the third inning. 1 on. It's Cody Williams over at first base. He'll take a lead there. Stanley looks back at first. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing, that one's fouled off by Politica. The count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Wind coming across from first to third. But it does feel like it's coming into my face. Here's a pitch on the way, swing and a fly ball. Infield, Kingston Sabrekov comes in and grabs it, and that will do it for the Riders here in the third inning. Still lead 1-0. They lead 1 on the first base. We head to the bottom of the frame. North Mason coming up. Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
An important safety reminder from Mason PUD3. Please never touch a downed power line. If a power line falls on your vehicle, stay inside and call 911. Tell others to stay back, wait for emergency personnel. Never touch anyone or anything in contact with a downed power line. Always stay at least 100 feet away. Never use an object to move a downed wire. Don't remove trees or limbs near a downed line. Electricity travels through ground, trees, branches, and more. It's not safe. If you see a downed line, call PUD3 at 360-426-8255.
Hi folks, Diedrich Allen with Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, your source for live high school sports with play-by-play. Once again, Mason Web TV is broadcasting select games every week this school year. Football, basketball, baseball, softball. We bring you all the action, from the kickoff to the final whistle, from the tip-off to the final buzzer, from the first pitch to the last out. Watch how it happens on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC. Business owners, you can get in on the action as well. Go online, email, call, or text right now to find out how.
Bottom of the third we go. 1-0 Port Angeles. The Bulldogs coming up here and leading things off will be Danner Jones. He'll hit one right up the middle. That'll get into, whoa, it's a nice play over there. Whew. Nice play over there by Angevine to grab it, throw to Politica. And it looks like Danner Jones beat him out. Beat the throw as he pulled off Politica off the bag. So 1 on for North Mason here. In the bottom of the third inning. That'll bring up, let's see here. This is Ringstad, shows bunt, bunts it, leaves it right there in the front of the plate. Picking it up and throwing to first will be Martin. Throw over to second, and Jones has made it over there, but they're 1 away. And Jones is safe on second base, so puts him in scoring position. Does Ringstad. So 1 away now to the top of the order. Number 5, Caden Atencio. I believe he struck out in the first inning. So Plugstrom's going to head out to the mound with a quick chat with the starting pitcher of Martin. So 1 out, 1 on. Danner Jones at second base for North Mason. Here is Atencio with the at-bat. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss for strike 1. So 0-1 to Atencio. Jones takes his lead at second base. 1 out. 1 on. 1-0 ball game. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss by Atencio again. 0-2. Boston Stanley on deck for North Mason. His pitch on the way, and that's a ground ball. It's going to hop foul. Out of play. Actually, it's not a play, it's just a foul. So 0-2 remains the count as Caden Atencio step back in. The wind has shifted now just a little bit. Here's the 0-2. 1 on and 1 out. Martin taking his time, pitch on the way, swing, and that one's fouled off again. Count remains. No balls and 2 strikes to Caden Atencio. Third batter here in the third inning for North Mason. Here's a pitch on the way. Ground ball. That's going to get by the pitcher, and it's going to be scooped up there by second baseman. And Politico was drawn off the bag. Did they get him there? No, they did not. So the Bulldogs have runners on the corners. They had Standard Jones makes his way over to third base. So runners at the corners and 1 away for Boston Stanley. And Stanley had a base hit in the first inning. So again, Jones at third, Atencio at first, Boston Stanley the batter for North Mason. Somewhat shifted over in the outfield, more in line with Stanley. Pitch on the way, runner goes. And throw to third as Atencio is now on second base. So 2 runners in scoring position for North Mason here in the bottom of the third inning. Trailing 1-0. Got that wrong, don't I? Count is a 1-0 to Stanley. Pitch on the way. It's going to be outside for ball 2. So 2 balls, no strikes to Boston Stanley. Getting 1 out, 2 on. Atencio at second. Tanner Jones at third. So, let's see here. Floodstrom back behind home plate. Here's the 2-0 to Stanley. There's a strike. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Stanley. 1 out, 2 on. 2 runners in scoring position as Atencio's at second and Jones is at third. Here's next pitch on the way. Ooh, just a bit outside and low. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Boston Stanley. Dylan Bordeaux on deck. Stanley, however, has a 3-1 count. Getting 1 out and 2 on. Here's a pitch on the way. There's a strike 2 called. So the count goes full. Stanley back in the box, taps the plate and waits for the next pitch. Martin to his stretch and pitch on the way. It's going to be strike 3 called, and Stanley can't believe that one. That's out number 2. So 2 down for North Mason here in the third. And that will bring up Dylan Prideaux. Swing and a miss. So 0-1. There is the next pitch on the way, the 0-1. Strike 2 called. So 0-2 to Prideaux. Getting 2 out, 2 on in a 1-0 ball game. And an 0-2. There's a little bit of wind kicking up a bit. Tencio at third, Jones at, Jones is at third. He's going to come in on the wild pitch. Nope, they're going to get him. He's out. Trying to get home, and that will do it for the Bulldogs here in their half of the third. Still 1-0. Port Angeles with the lead. The Riders are coming up on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
What is gig speed internet? We could bore you with the technical details, or we could tell you that it's marathoning movies on your favorite streaming service with no interruptions, or having the grandkids over and not hearing a single complaint about your Wi-Fi. In other words, it's just what you needed. Switch to gig speed internet from Hood Canal Communications today and get $25 off your first 4 months. Visit hcc.net or call 360-898-2481.
Kids can't tell when food or drinks include cannabis, especially when the package is fun and colorful. Remember to store in a safe place, out of sight and out of reach. Brought to you by Mason County Public Health and Mason County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition.
This broadcast on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, is being made possible by Mason Health, United Community, Empowered People, Exceptional Health. Mason County is a very special place. When you're looking for sound real estate advice, pick the team that has called Mason County home for 5 generations. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate is always thrilled to help you buy or sell real estate in our area. Whether it is Hood Canal, Harstein Island, Matlock, Tahuya, South Puget Sound, or Shelton, the Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate has the experience you can trust. Remember, when it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge.
And we're back here, heading to the top of the 4th inning. 1-0 Port Angeles with the lead, and the Riders are coming up to bat. Let's see, I don't see any change in the lineup for the Bulldogs. And Stanley just completed his warm-ups and leading things off. For the Riders is Jordan Shumway. Let's see here, what was he earlier? Oh, I have him now. I don't have any information on Shumway right at the moment. So still trying to get used to everything. But he'll lead things off for Port Angeles here in the 4th. First pitch in there for a ball 1. Shumway will step back in. The throwback to the pitcher was off of Stanley's glove. And here we go with the 1-0. Pitch on the way. That's a bouncer all the way back here. Ball 2. So 2 balls and no strikes to Jordan Shumway. One nothing ball game here, coming to you from Belfair, Washington. Little Olympic League baseball. These teams faced off yesterday with the Riders coming away with an 8-0 win. That pitch to Shumway from Stanley was ball 3. So 3 balls and no strikes to the leadoff batter for the Port Angeles Roughriders here in the 4th inning. It is so funny. I'm looking out into center field in the oh, there's a leadoff. Oh, that's a strike. I thought that was going to be a ball. At the outside corner, looking out into the flag that's out there at Phil Pugh Stadium, And it's in a different direction as the wind is blowing in my face. Here is the 3-1 and a ground ball. It's a little dribbler. This Stanley's going to one-hand throw with a strike over to first base, but the ball came out, and the runner is safe at first. So 1 on, nobody out. And that'll bring up number 1, Nathan Baston. So 1 on and nobody out, and we have a timeout called. As they're discussing that last play, Bulldogs are appealing to the umpire out in the field, where the ball got there in time, but it popped out of the glove, so the runner will hold. So the runner stays at first base. So 1 on, nobody out. Shumway's at first base, and the batter is Baston. He pops one foul straight up for strike 1. Guess it's Baston, not Baston. So Shumway at first base, and an 0-1 to Nathan Baston. Waiting for the next pitch from Stanley. It's a fastball. He swings and he'll hit that one. It's a fly ball. Going to drop foul in right field. So 0-2. Second at bat. Here's the next pitch on the way. A line drive right into the glove of Ringstad. Throw to first, and that time they got Shumway. They doubled him up. And there's 2 out. So 2 away for Port Angeles here in the 4th inning. And that will bring up number 18, Trey Hannon, the designated hitter. First pitch, check swing, that's strike 1. Gooding on deck. Should Hannon reach? Here's the 0-1 from Stanley. 2 out, nobody on. Just a bit high for ball 1, 1-1. Don't like the wind. Means it's blowing in something. Right into our little pop-up tent. Here's 1-1. Ground ball right back to Stanley. Oh, he bobbled it. It went off his knee. Can't get a hold of it, and runner's safe on first. So 1 on, 2 out. And here's Gooding. Designated hitter. He struck out in the 2nd inning. Lead things off in the 2nd inning, but we are in the 4th. So you have to score that one with an error on Stanley. And there's a runner at first base. It's Hannon. Here is the first pitch to Gooding. Kick in and throw. Line, actually a ground ball right into the glove of Ringstad. He'll underhand it over to Shoemaker for the out there. And that will do it for the Roughriders here in the 4th. We head to the bottom of the frame. Still 1-0. Port Angeles, North Mason coming up on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
What is fiber internet? We could bore you with the technical details, or we could tell you it's just internet. Internet that can do whatever you need. Crystal clear video chats with the family, smooth streaming of your favorite shows, uploading a ton of vacation photos in an instant. Even all of the above, all at once. Switch to fiber internet from Hood Canal Communications today and get $25 off your first 4 months of gig speed service. Visit hcc.net or call 360-898-2481.
An important safety reminder from Mason PUD3. Please never touch a downed power line. If a power line falls on your vehicle, stay inside and call 911. Tell others to stay back, wait for emergency personnel. Never touch anyone or anything in contact with a downed power line. Always stay at least 100 feet away. Never use an object to move a downed wire. Don't remove trees or limbs near a downed line. Electricity travels through ground, trees, branches, and more. It's not safe. If you see a downed line, call PUD3 at 360-426-8255.
Bottom of the fourth inning we go. 1-0 Port Angeles, North Mason coming up. And let's see here, leading things off, I believe. Yes, it'll be Dylan Prideaux. He struck out in the first inning and did not complete his at-bat in the third. Is that right, Prideaux? Let me double check that. No, that is not Dylan Prideaux. Excuse me. I'm off there. Oh, there comes some serious wind right into our faces here. Wow, that's not good. Blowing the rain right into our little tent here. Here's first pitch, and it's in the dirt. But a check swing, and they're going to say he went. So strike one. Here's a pitch, and it's high from Martin. And a swing and a miss. That's strike two. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. To Prideaux. Here's the 1-2. It's going to be outside for ball 2, so 2-2 to count. To Prideaux leading things off in the fourth inning. Rice on deck. Yeah, I see what I'm getting confused. He's wearing 2, not 23. Pitch on the way. That one's fouled straight back. And the count remains even at 2-2. You can hear the rain hit the tent. And the wind right in our face. Here's a pitch on the way. That's going to be high for ball 3. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Prideaux. Here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Pitch on the way, and that's a swing and a miss for out number 1. And here comes Calvin Rice. And let's see here. I believe he struck out in the first inning. Here's a pitch on the way. Now he's going to pop one up. And out of play. Strike 1. Wouldn't be too bad if the wind doesn't blow the rain into our little pop-up tent. I'll have to move things back here when I get a moment. Here's the 0-1 to Rice. That's going to be a wild pitch for ball 1. 1-1 the count. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Nobody on for North Mason. Your bottom of the fourth inning, a 1-0 ball game. Port Angeles with that 1-run lead. Here's the 1-1 from Martin. Fastball, swing, and a pop fly into foul territory and just over the fence out of play. So the count remains, well, actually the count goes to 1-2. With 1 out, nobody on. Calvin Rice, the bat for North Mason. He'll step back in, wait for the 1-2 from Martin. Appears to be a gap right up the middle in the infield. Pitch on the way, fastball high, gets away. Wild pitch there. It's 2-2 to Rice. Shoemaker on deck. There's pitch on the way. Fastball hit right back to Martin. He'll trot towards first and underhand it over to Politica, and that's out number 2. So 2 down for North Mason here in the 4th. So that brings up Shoemaker. He flew out in the 2nd inning. First pitch at Shoemaker, fastball outside, hit that outside corner for strike 1. Nice pitch. So 2 down, nobody on for North Mason here in the 4th inning. In a 1-0 ball game. Here's the kick and the throw for Martin. Swing and a foul out of play over our heads. 0-2. Rain's coming down a little harder. Pitch on the way, and there's a ground ball foul. Count remains 0-2 to Shoemaker. Right on time, 5 o'clock. Okay, a little early. Just a few minutes started a few minutes ago, so it'll probably be about 10 minutes before 5 o'clock. Rain started to come down, now it's coming down a little harder. In a 1-0 ball game. Here's the throw. Fly ball out of play again. And Shoemaker is battling here, stay alive. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. We did start this game about 20 minutes early. Just try to beat the weather out, but we're through 4 innings. And will we go 5? We'll know, or do we keep going to the end? Here's the pitch on the way, and a fly ball. It's going to drop into center field for a base hit. Shoemaker rounds first, holds up there. So 1 on and 2 out for the Bulldogs here. And that brings up Paulie Califorri. He had a base hit. No, I'm sorry, he did not. Yeah, he did have, let's see, where was he? Oh, he walked in the 2nd. So 1 on and a 2 out for North Mason. And Califorri takes ball 1. Throw to first base. And Shoemaker's back safely. He'll step up. Pitch on the way. Just a bit low. Ball 2. 2 balls. And no strikes. And the timeout has been called. As coach heads out to talk with Martin. Get him settled down in this rain. I'm going to take a moment to move some things in a bit. As the rain comes down. Oh, that's good. Thanks. Thanks, folks. And where are we? Still 2 balls, no strikes, 2 out, 1 on for North Mason. Outside and low. Ball 3, so 3-0. Smart man.
Trying to keep this score.
This rain comes down a little harder. So Shoemaker takes a lead over at first base, 2 out, and it's 3-0. Califorri, and he's going to walk again. So we'll have runners at first and second for the Bulldogs with 2 out. And that, let's see, hold on a second, where are we here? Yeah. And that'll bring up Kingston's breakoff. In a 1-0 ball game, bottom of the 4th. In a wet Belfair. Breakoff takes pitch inside, ball 1. Getting runners at first and second for the Bulldogs. Shoemaker at second, California on first, taking their leads. Kingston's breakoff waits for the next pitch outside, hit that outside corner for strike 1. 1-1. And Martin taking his time here with 2 on and 2 out. In a 1-1 count, here's the pitch on the way. Outside, throw to second. Did they get him? Nope, they got him back. And Shoemaker makes it back to the bag. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 out, 2 on. And the wind kicks up again. Here's pitch on the way. Fastball inside, ball 3. So 3 balls, 1 strike to Zabrekov. So again, Shoemaker is at second. California over at first. Zabrekov at bat, the 3-1. That's 3 balls in, 1 strike, 2 out for North Mason here. Pitch on the way. Ground ball, that's going to go foul at the first base line, and that makes the count full. 3-2. Rain continues to fall here in Belfair. And Zabrekov will step off. And again, Martin will step off, get everybody back to the bags. Again, 2 on, 2 out, and a full count to Kingston Zabrekov. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss, and that will do it for the Bulldogs here in their half of the 4th. We head to the 5th, 1-0 Port Angeles with the lead on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job. It's our promise.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works, and it's how we do business at Hood Canal Communications. We know you count on us for value-priced internet, TV, and phone service, backed by friendly local support. Your hard-earned dollars stay right here as we invest in our community, our people, and smart technology. Hood Canal Communications, keeping our community connected while being a good neighbor.
And we head to the fifth inning of play. 1-0 Port Angeles with the lead, and coming to bat are the Roughriders. Leading things off will be Bryce De Leon. And let's see here, Bryce. I can't even read my own writing. His first at bat in the 2nd inning. Doing a little bit of quick maintenance here, as the rain has subsided for the moment. Trying to keep this game going here as they're putting some of that quick dry dirt out there. So we're, in-game maintenance, kind of like it. Guess we'll scrape it around here in a moment. I'll get back here and get the scoreboard up. 1-0 ball game. And I'm sorry, I'm leading things off. It's not number 6 here. Where are we? Yeah, it's De Leon. They're still waiting for Stanley to get through his warm-ups, and that's his last warm-up. And here comes number 6. As Bryce trots up to the plate. Do not see any changes in the on the field for the Bulldogs here in the 5th. As the rain picks up, just as they get the maintenance guys off the field. Here we go. Here's a pitch on the way. That's going to be low in ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes. Top of the 5th inning, 1-0 Port Angeles with that 1-run lead. And De Leon is leading things off with 2 balls. Keep the ball dry here as the rain continues to fall here. Let's see here. On deck will be Alex Angevine. He had talk about Alex when he comes up to bat here after De Leon has a strike 1 called. So 2 balls and 1 strike.
I hit it twice.
Here's the 2-1 outside. Oh, just hit that outside corner for strike 2. So 2-2 the count to De Leon, leading things off for Port Angeles here in the top of the 5th inning. Here's the next pitch. Swing, and that one's fouled out of play off the first base line. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Leadoff batter for Port Angeles here in the 5th inning of play. Here's the 2-2 from Stanley. Ooh, a little bit high. Makes it 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count for De Leon. Here's the kick and the throw. That one's popped out of play, and the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's a pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, and that's out number 1 for Port Angeles here in the 5th inning. And that'll bring up Alex Angevine. He flew out in the 3rd, but he did have a double to lead the ball game off. And he scored the only run here in the game. So first pitch to Angevine. High, ball 1. Here's the 1-0 from Stanley to Angevine. Inside, ball 2, so 2-0. Dealing with some mud on his shoe here. Here's the 2-1 to Angevine. Pitch on the way. That's high. Ball 3. So 3 balls and no strikes to Angevine. Apologize for the drops of water on our lens. Not much we can do about that. Here's the swing and a foul straight back for the first strike. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Angevine. On deck is Williams. For Port Angeles, they're leading 1-0 here in the top of the 5th inning. Here's the next pitch on the way. Fastball, that one's swung and fouled off, and the count goes full. To Angevine, battling here with 1 out in the 5th inning. As long as the wind calms down, I'm fine. Rain continues to fall. And now here the wind kicks up just a tad bit. Here's the full count pitch. That's going to be strike 3 called. Wow. And that is out number 2 for Port Angeles here in the 5th. And here's Williams. Here's the first pitch to Williams. Swing and a ground ball. It's going to be gloved there by Sabrekov. Covering from the pitcher is Stanley, and that will record the out. So we head to the bottom of the frame. Still 1-0 Port Angeles. North Mason coming to bat. This is Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
Mason County is a very special place. When you're looking for sound real estate advice, pick the team that has called Mason County home for 5 generations. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate is always thrilled to help you buy or sell real estate in our area. Whether it is Hood Canal, Harstein Island, Matlock, Tahuya, South Puget Sound, or Shelton, the Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate has the experience you can trust. Remember, when it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge.
There's so many great things about life in Mason County, and Hood Canal Communications is proud to be one more. Headquartered in Union, we offer the speed and reliability your family needs, backed by hometown service and support. Whether you need to just check email or power all those Wi-Fi devices around your home, HCC has the right package for you. Stop by one of our friendly offices, call or visit hcc.net to learn more. Hood Canal Communications, keeping our community connected.
Kids learn by watching adults, so consume cannabis out of sight of young people. And be a Mason County kid's greatest influence. Brought to you by Mason County Public Health and the Mason County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition.
This presentation on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, is being brought to you by Mason County Public Utility District Number 1, Washington State's first public utility district, proudly serving the Hood Canal in Mason County since 1935. So we do have a new pitcher out there for the Roughriders, number 19. That's Mason Grice. He pitched 2 innings versus Ingram on the 15th. No runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So Mason Grice, the new pitcher for the Riders here in the bottom of the 5th inning. We're getting an extra. I took an extra break because I thought they were a little late, but this is a warm-up pitch for Grice. Still warming things up here. And he is going to face Jones, Ringstad, and Atencio here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1-0 Port Angeles with the lead. North Mason coming up to bat. And here is a Danner Jones. And Danner, let's see here. He had a base hit, but it was caught in the 3rd inning. It's his second at bat. Here's the first pitch to him from Grice, high ball 1. So 1-0 to Jones, leading things off for the Bulldogs here. Swing and a fly ball center field. Coming in, diving for it, can't get to it, it drops out of the glove, and Jones has a leadoff single for the Bulldogs here in the 5th. And here is a Ringstad. He grounded out in the 3rd inning. in his first at bat. So 1 on, nobody out for North Mason here. Bottom of the 5th inning, trailing 1-0. Third base playing a little bit in. Everybody else pretty much straight away. Here's a bunt, high, ball 1 to Ringstad. Atencio on deck. Again, runner at first is Tanner Jones. Nobody out for North Mason here in the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing 1-0. Grice with the next pitch. That's outside, gets away from the catcher, and Jones is going to trot over to second base. So runner in scoring position, the potential tying run over there at second base. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Ringstad. Let's see, meeting on the mound with Floodstrom and Grice, trying to calm him down a little bit. There's a couple of wild pitches here, and it's 2 balls and no strikes to Ringstad with Tanner Jones on second base. Nobody out for the Bulldogs here, bottom of the 5th inning. Trailing 1-0. Ready to go. Grice gets his sign. Looks back at second. Looks back at second again. Here's the pitch. Shows bunt, does Ringstad. You take a strike or a ball? That's a ball. So 3 balls and no strikes to Ringstad. Stepping back in as the rain picks up a little bit more. Here's a pitch on the way, and that's outside for a walk. So the Bulldogs have runners at first and second now. And that'll bring up Caden Atencio. Struck out in the first, but he had a single in the third. And they're going to, coach and catcher are going to head out to the mound. Talk a bit about, or a bit to Grice. He's got 2 on and nobody out here. Just taking over here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Caden Atencio is the batter. Ringstad at first, Jones at second. The umpire crew is going to head in and try to break up this conference at the mound. And it looks like Grice is done after just 2 batters. So we'll have a new pitcher coming in for the Riders. We'll tell you about that in a moment. We come back at Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
Hi folks, Diedrich Allen with Mason Web TV powered by HCC, your source for live high school sports with play-by-play. Once again, Mason Web TV is broadcasting select games every week this school year. Football, basketball, baseball, softball. We bring you all the action, from the kickoff to the final whistle, from the tip-off to the final buzzer, from the first pitch to the last out. Watch how it happens on Mason Web TV powered by HCC. Business owners, you can get in on the action as well. Go online, email, call, or text right now to find out how.
What is gig speed internet? We could bore you with the technical details, or we could tell you that it's marathoning movies on your favorite streaming service with no interruptions, or having the grandkids over and not hearing a single complaint about your Wi-Fi. In other words, it's just what you needed. Switch to gig speed internet from Hood Canal Communications today and get $25 off your first 4 months. Visit hcc.net or call 360-898-2481.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it. It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Well, the new pitcher for Port Angeles is Brant Perry. He takes over here in the bottom of the third with nobody out and 2 on. Daniel Jones over at second. And Ringstad at first. And the batter is going to be Caden Atencio. He will face Perry for the first time. And a 1-0 ball game here, bottom of the 5th inning. Do we continue after this inning is going to be questioned, as the rain has been pretty steady since it started about an hour ago. Actually, more like an hour and a half ago, was it? I don't know. Either way, here's the first pitch to Atencio from Perry. In there for strike 1. So 0-1 to Atencio. Again, Jones at second. Ringstad at first for the Bulldogs. Nobody out for North Mason. They're trailing Port Angeles 1-0 here, bottom of the 5th inning. Brant Perry in relief. Second pitcher here in the inning. Pitch on the way, and that hit. Atencio. And so the bases are now loaded for the North Mason Bulldogs, and that'll bring up Boston Stanley. And Stanley struck out in the third, had a base hit in the first. So bases are loaded, nobody out for North Mason here. Bottom of the 5th inning, trailing 1-0. Stanley steps in. Waiting for the first pitch from Perry. It's the second batter he's faced here. Bases are loaded, he inherited this. Here's a pitch on the way. Just a bit low, ball 1. So Jones is at third, Ringstad is second, and Atencio is over at first. Boston Stanley, the batter, he has 1 ball, no strikes. Nobody out, 3 on. Here's a pitch on the way. Swing and a fly ball that's going out of play at the first base line for strike 1. So 1-1 the count to Boston Stanley. Again, the sacks are loaded. Nobody out. Jones at third, Ringstad at second, Atencio at first. Here's the 1-1 from Perry. That's high, slides in there, just missed. That's ball 2, so 2-1. 1-0 ball game. Port Angeles with the lead. North Mason at bat. And home plate umpire is going to step off. Make a note in his pad. I don't see any change other than Perry at the in the pitching mound. I'm not sure what that was. I haven't seen hand signals like this from a home plate umpire. So I have to look into that. So it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Nobody out, 3 on for North Mason. Boston Stanley has 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's a pitch on the way. Strike 2 called, so the count goes even 2-2 to Stanley. So a 2-2 count. Nobody out and the bases are loaded. Here's the pitch on the way to Boston Stanley. Swing and a line drive that's going to get into left field. Jones comes in to score, ties it up at 1, and the bases remain loaded, and the ball game is tied at 1-1. Nobody out. And that brings up Dylan Prudhoe on a 1-1 ball game, bottom of the 5th inning. Rain's been falling, let's see, what if we get it? It's about half an hour, I guess, now, 40 minutes or so. It's been falling. So Dylan Prudhoe is on at the plate. Bases remain loaded. Here's a pitch on the way. Inside, just a bit high for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes. So 1-0. Again, the bases are loaded. Pitch on the way. Line drive right into center field. Here comes Ringstad to score, making 2-0. Around third, heading home is Atencio, and it's 3-1. North Mason coming back. Two runs are in here. 3 runs are in, excuse me. It's 3-1 on that hit. And let's see, who's at the scene here. So Ringstad came in, Atencio came in. Stanley is at third now. And interesting. And runners at the corners. And still nobody out for the Lustman Network here. Interesting. Oh, I know what happened. I lost my one network because my phone's probably dead. Yeah. All right. And I can't do much about that. Hopefully we'll stay on live here as I lost my network here. See what what happens here as Perry will step off. So it's 3-1. Runners at first and third. I don't have a cord with me, so I can't charge my phone. Hopefully we'll hold on with our streaming. And runner goes as Purdell makes his way over to second base. So it is 2 runners in scoring position, and it's a 3-1 ball game. North Mason on top. And there's nobody out here in the 5th inning, bottom of the 5th. 3 runs in, 2 on. And here's the pitch on the way. Off speed, ball 2. This is Calvin Rice is the batter. Know what I can do? Yeah. Rely on technology, and this is what happens. Here's a ground ball that's going to go foul at the third base line. Out of play. Makes it 2-1. Nobody out. Yeah, I'm still waiting for a charge on it. Here's a pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, and that's strike number 2. It's a 2-2 the count. Trying to get my network back here. Okay. Pitch on the way. And that's a ball. It gets away. Here comes Stanley in for another score and makes it 4-1 on the play. Let's see. Purdell makes his way to third. So it's 4-1. And the full count to Calvin Rice. Should be enough to get my power back on. I should be able to get the scoreboard back up here shortly, folks. Apologize for that. But it's 4-1. Swing and a miss, and that is going to be out number 1 for the Bulldogs here. 4 runs are in. They're leading 4-1. And here is number 23. And that's Reed Shoemaker. He's the batter. Runner at third. Pitch on the way, and that's in the dirt. Good stop there by Floodstrom. So it's 1-0, 1 out, 4 in, 1 on for North Mason here. Bottom of the 5th inning, 4-1 is the score. Rain's been falling since about the 3rd inning. Third pitcher here, second in the inning. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss. And it's 1-1. 1 out, 4 in, 1 on for North Mason. Dylan Prideaux over there at third base, waiting to come home. Pitch on the way. A strike on the outside corner for the second strike. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Swing, and that one's fouled back, and it's still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see what happened. All right. Get the network back. We'll get the scoreboard back up. Here's a pitch on the way outside. That's going to be ball 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, 1 on, 4 in. Dylan Prideaux over at third base. Here's a pitch on the way. Swing and a line drive right off the glove of Angevine, tagging there, throwing over to first for the out there, but another run comes in to score, makes it 5-1 as Prideaux came in to score. So it's now 5-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Still don't have it. Interesting. Let's just see what I can do here. And this will bring up Pauly Califorri. Bases are empty, 2 out. Pitch on the way to Califorri. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Here's the next pitch on the way. That's going to be ball 1. There we go. So 2 out, 5 in, and a 1-1 count for Pauly Califorri. As the rain continues to fall here, here's a pitch on the way. Low, and I hit that outside corner for strike 2, so 1-2 to count. There we go. Pitch on the way, and it's in the dirt for ball number 2, so 2-2. 5-1 ball game. North Mason has sent 5 home here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Nobody on. 2 out. Pauly Califorri swings and he'll strike 1. It drops into center field, and Califorri has a 2-out single, and the Bulldogs still at bat. Kingston Sabraikoff will come up. So 2 away, 1 on, 5 in. 5-1, North Mason has all their runs here in the 5th inning. A big 5th inning for the Bulldogs. Apologize for the water on the lens. It's the best we can do here. Pitch on the way. Oh, and that hits Sabraikoff. And that'll put runners at first and second here in the 5th inning of play. As the second reliever here in the inning, Perry is struggling, and I think his day will be done as well as the coach is coming back out. The Riders have used 2 pitchers here in relief in this inning. And they're bringing out some of this quick dry dirt, filling the holes here at home plate. I think this is their bag. This is their second bag today in this ball game. As Perry heads to the dugout, and coming in will be number 4, and that is Hunter Stratford. He pitched an inning against Ingram on the 15th, earned 5 earned runs, 4 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts that outing. and he'll take over in relief. We'll step aside as Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
With all the question marks and uncertainty that surrounds today's real estate market, it is nice to know that there is a local team that has the experience with all types of markets to ensure you make a sound decision, whether selling or buying. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate has been a staple in the Mason County community for over 40 years. Feel free to reach out to Jeff, Andy, Chrissy, or Laura with any real estate questions that you may have. When it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge.
Kids can't tell when food or drinks include cannabis, especially when the package is fun and colorful. Remember to store in a safe place, out of sight and out of reach. Brought to you by Mason County Public Health and Mason County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition.
If you're enjoying this broadcast, please give us a like on your favorite social media. You can use the handle @MasonWebTV to find us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Subscribe and follow Mason Web TV so you never miss anything.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works, and it's how we do business at Hood Canal Communications. We know you count on us for value-priced internet, TV, and phone service, backed by friendly local support. Your hard-earned dollars stay right here as we invest in our community, our people, and smart technology. Hood Canal Communications, keeping our community connected while being a good neighbor.
An important safety reminder from Mason PUD3. Please never touch a downed power line. If a power line falls on your vehicle, stay inside and call 911. Tell others to stay back, wait for emergency personnel. Never touch anyone or anything in contact with a downed power line. Always stay at least 100 feet away. Never use an object to move a downed wire. Don't remove trees or limbs near a downed line. Electricity travels through ground, trees, branches, and more. It's not safe. If you see a downed line, call PUD3 at 360-426-8255.
So we have a new pitcher out there. This is the third one here in the inning, and it's Stratford taking over. He is facing Danner Jones, and the Bulldogs have batted around here in the inning, and they lead 5-1. Runners at first and second right now, 2 out. And Stratford steps off. Everybody gets back. California is at first. Sabrakov is at, California is at second. Sabrakov is at first. And the batter again is Danner Jones. 5-1, 5 runs in here. Here's a pitch and a line drive that's going to go foul up the first base line. And 1-1 is the count. Been a long inning here. In the fifth, and the Bulldogs have taken over. They trailed 1-0 coming into this inning, and they have sent 5 home, getting to 2 previous relievers. Here's a pitch on the way, 1-1 swing, and a line drive is going to drop into right field. Rounding first is California, heading home. Throw in, cutoff man, throw down there. Did they get him? They got him at home, but the damage was done. The Bulldogs have taken the lead, 5-1. We head to the 6th. Port Angeles coming up. This is Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
What is fiber internet? We could bore you with the technical details, or we could tell you it's just internet. Internet that can do whatever you need. Crystal clear video chats with the family, smooth streaming of your favorite shows, uploading a ton of vacation photos in an instant. Even all of the above, all at once. Switch to fiber internet from Hood Canal Communications today and get $25 off your first 4 months of gig speed service. Visit hcc.net or call 360-898-2481.
Kids can't tell when food or drinks include cannabis, especially when the package is fun and colorful. Remember to store in a safe place, out of sight and out of reach. Brought to you by Mason County Public Health and Mason County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition.
This broadcast on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, is being made possible by Mason Health, United Community, Empowered People, Exceptional Health.
An important safety reminder from Mason PUD3. Please never touch a downed power line. If a power line falls on your vehicle, stay inside and call 911. Tell others to stay back, wait for emergency personnel. Never touch anyone or anything in contact with a downed power line. Always stay at least 100 feet away. Never use an object to move a downed wire. Don't remove trees or limbs near a downed line. Electricity travels through ground, trees, branches, and more. It's not safe. If you see a downed line, call PUD3 at 360-426-8255.
So we head to the top of the 6th inning of play. North Mason took over the game, and they lead 5-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Batted around, left a couple guys out there in the end. But now the Riders are coming up to bat here. See if they can get back in this ball game. And leading things off is number 3, Luke Floodstrom, the catcher. Boston Stanley still on the mound for the Bulldogs. Swing and a miss on that pitch. Strike 1. Here is the 0-1 from Stanley. A bit high. Ball 1, 1-1 is the count. Rylan Politica on deck for the Riders here. Stanley still looks to the sky, gets his sign. Here's the pitch on the way. Inside, ball 2, so 2-1. To Floodstrom, leading things off for Port Angeles here in the 6th inning. His team led by 1 run until the bottom of the 5th, and the Bulldogs came storming back here and took it over 5-1. Now, here's a pitch on the way outside. Strike 2 called, so 2-2 the count to Floodstrom. Stanley, big sigh, pitch on the way. It's fastball, high, ball 3. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Floodstrom. Count goes full. Floodstrom leading things off for Port Angeles here in the 6th inning. His team trailing 5-1. Stanley gets a sign. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a foul. That's a deep foul. It's going to go into the corner, and the count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes. To Floodstrom, the catcher for Port Angeles. Stanley trying to keep his cleats clean. Yes, the rain has lightened up just a bit here in the 6th inning. Here's the 3-2 again. Swing and another foul off. So the count still remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. To Floodstrom, leading things off for Port Angeles here in the 6th. 5-1 is our score. Here's the kick and the throw, and that will be a leadoff walk for the Riders as Floodstrom heads to first base. And that'll bring up number 10, Rylan Politica, first baseman. And we have a courtesy runner for Floodstrom, and that's number 7. That's in Smithson. It will be the courtesy runner at first base. So Smithson is at first. Nobody out for the Port Angeles Riders here, the Roughriders. And Politica is the batter. 5-1 ball game. Top of the 6th. 1 on, nobody out. Politica steps in, taps the plate a couple of times, waits for the first pitch from Stanley. 1 on, Smithson over there at first base for the Riders. Here's a pitch on the plate. That's going to bounce in for ball 1. And Smithson's over there at first base, back in the bag. Cannot imagine how muddy it is out there with the rain that's come down in this ball game since about the 3rd inning. Here is the 1-0 pitch from Stanley. Outside corner, strike one called, so 1-1 the count to Politica. Port Angeles, first baseman. Infield straight away, outfield pretty deep. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a ground ball. It's going to go foul off the first base line, so 1-2 the count. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, no out, 1 on for Port Angeles here in the top of the 6th, trailing 5-1. Here's a line drive, is going to drop in for a base hit. Smithson holds up at second. Politica is on first. So 2 on and nobody out for the Riders. And that will bring up Jordan Shumway. So again, 2 on, nobody out for Port Angeles here in the 6th inning, trailing 5-1. And the rain is coming down. People keep joining me in my tent here. Trying to stay covered. So Smithson at second, Politica at first, and timeout called by Rice. The catcher for North Mason heads out to Stanley to talk things over. And Shumway is the batter. Let's see if I got something here. He's 1 for 1, is Shumway. He waits for the first pitch from Stanley. It's high for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes to Shumway. Nobody out, 2 on. For Port Angeles, top of the 6th, 5-1 is our score. Pitch on the way. That's strike at the knees. So 1-1 the count to Shumway. 5-1 ball game, top of the 6th. Nobody out, 2 on for Port Angeles. They're trailing. Shumway the batter. Here's a pitch on the way. Joe's bunt pops one up in the air, goes foul, and that's 1-2 is the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jordan Shumway. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Shumway, 2 on. Smithson at second, Politica at first. Pitch on the way. He reached for that one and hit it foul at the third base line. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes still to Shumway. Third batter here in the 6th inning in a 5-1 ball game. Baston in on deck. Here's pitch on the way. That's going to be high. Runners will hold on that. The ball popped out of the glove of Rice. So 2-2 the count. 2 on, nobody out for Port Angeles here in the 6th inning, trailing 5-1. Shumway back in the box. Runners at first and second. Pitch on the way from Stanley. Swing, and that one's fouled off the first base line. The count remains 2-2. Shumway back in the box. Waiting for the 2-2 from Stanley, who's gone the whole way here today in the rain. Pitch on the way. Swing, and that one's fouled straight back over the heads of everybody. And the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 on, nobody out. Our Riders would like to have a nice ride back to Port Angeles, but right now they're trailing 5-1. Again, runners at first and second, nobody out. Stanley looks back at second, pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive, be gloved there by Shoemaker. He'll shovel it over to first or second for the out there, and a throw from Ringstad a little bit late. So one away on the play. Runner goes to third base. So one out. Runners at the corners now for the Riders. And here is Baston. Nathan Baston. It looks like Boston Stanley's going to head to third base, and Dylan Prideaux is going to take over on the mound here in the sixth with one out. We'll take a timeout and be right back. It's Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
Hi folks, Diedrich Allen with Mason Web TV powered by HCC, your source for live high school sports with play-by-play. Once again, Mason Web TV is broadcasting select games every week this school year. Football, basketball, baseball, softball. We bring you all the action from the kickoff to the final whistle, from the tip-off to the final buzzer, from the first pitch to the last out. Watch how it happens on Mason Web TV powered by HCC. Business owners, you can get in on the action as well. Go online, email, call, or text right now to find out how. With all the question marks and uncertainty that surrounds today's real estate market, it is nice to know that there is a local team that has the experience with all types of markets to ensure you make a sound decision, whether selling or buying. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate has been a staple in the Mason County community for over 40 years. Feel free to reach out to Jeff, Andy, Chrissy, or Laura with any real estate questions that you may have. When it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge.
Kids learn by watching adults, so consume cannabis out of sight of young people. And be a Mason County kid's greatest influence. Brought to you by Mason County Public Health and the Mason County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition.
If you're enjoying this broadcast, please give us a like on your favorite social media. You can use the handle @MasonWebTV to find us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Subscribe and follow Mason Web TV so you never miss anything.
So Dylan Prideaux will take over on the mound. Let's see if I have any information on Dylan as a pitcher here. I do not have anything on him as pitching. I do think he did pitch. Did he pitch against Shelton? I can't remember. Either way, he's going through his warm-ups. So runners at the corners for Port Angeles when we resume play after Prideaux gets through his warm-ups. One out, and the batter that Prideaux will face will be Nathan Baston. And we're still in the warm-ups for Prideaux. He came from third base. Stanley's now at playing third. So Prideaux takes over. So the infield is Stanley at third, Shoemaker at short, Ringstad at second, Sabarikov still at first base. The outfield from left to right, Jones, Atencio, and Califori. And, of course, Prideaux the pitcher now, and Rice the catcher for the Bulldogs. Leading this ball game 5-1. Top of the sixth inning. One out and two on. Runners at first and third. And we're still waiting for Prideaux to get through his warm-up pitches here. Coming to you from Belfair, Washington, a very wet North Mason baseball field here, as they've used at least two of that quick, dry dirt in the late innings here. So here's Baston. He'll step in to face Prideaux. One out, two on in a 5-1 ball game, top of the sixth. Rice will step up and bark out some orders. Probably go two and then one. And let's see what Prideaux can bring here on the mound. First pitch outside, ball one. Sorry, I didn't update that. There it is. So here's the 1-0 to Baston. In a line, a little ground ball scooped up there by Shoemaker. Throw to second for the out there, but the run does come in, and that makes it 5-2 with two outs now. and a runner at second base. Sorry, just trying to update my graphics here in a minute. Okay. So 2 away now for Port Angeles. And this will bring up number 3. No. Let's just double check it on the number here. Hannon is the batter. His first pitch to him is high for ball 1. 1 in, 2 out, 1 on for Port Angeles here. Trailing 5-2 now. Baston takes his lead over there at first base. Pedro on the mound. Big breath. Pitch down there for ball 2, so 2 balls and 1 strike. To Hannon. They say 2 balls and no strikes, 2 balls and no strikes. 2 out, 1 on, 1 in for the Riders here in the 6th. Pitch on the way. It's going to be high for ball 3, so 3 balls and no strikes. To Hannon. On deck is Gooding. Should Hannon reach? So there's 2 outs and 1 on, 1 in. Gets the sign that he likes. Here's the pitch. And a little bit low, and that'll put runners at first and second. Why am I losing my network here? So we have a timeout. Okay. Interesting. All right, well, I lost my network again, so the scoreboard goes away. So it's 5-2. 2 on, runners at first and second. And Gooding is the batter for Port Angeles. Pitch on the way. Oh, that hit him, and that'll load the bases. So bases are now loaded for Port Angeles here with 2 out. There we go. Weird. So 3 on, 2 out, 1 in for Port Angeles. It's 5-2. Top of the 6th inning. Gooding's on first base, Hannon on second, and Baston on third, and that pitch is in there for ball 1. And the batter, by the way, is De Leon. Steps up with a 1-0. Bases are loaded. Prideaux on the mound. Pitch on the way. That's going to be inside, just hit the strike zone for strike 1. So 1-1 to count. So 1-1 to De Leon. De Leon is 0 for 2 today. Pitch on the way. Swing, and that one's going to go foul. So 1-2 the count to De Leon. On deck's the top of the order for Port Angeles and Alex Angevine. He did lead off the ball game with a double and then scored in the first inning, but since then it's been pretty quiet. But first De Leon has to reach or do something here with a 1-2 count and 2 out, 3 on. 1 in, pitch on the way. That one again is a chop foul up the third baseline. 1 ball, 2 strikes still. Bases are loaded. Baston at third. Hannon at second. Gooding at first. The batter is De Leon for Port Angeles. Runners take their lead. Pitch on the way. That's going to be high for ball 2. So 2-2 the count as Rice looked Baston back to third base. So 2 out, 2 on, or 3 on, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Baston walks into the grass. Here's a 2-2 pitch from Prideaux. Inside, strike 3, called. That'll do it for the Riders here in the 6th. They do get 1. They leave 3. We head to the bottom of the 6th, 5-2. North Mason with the lead. This is Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
An important safety reminder from Mason PUD3. Please never touch a downed power line. If a power line falls on your vehicle, stay inside and call 911. Tell others to stay back. Wait for emergency personnel. Never touch anyone or anything in contact with a downed power line. Always stay at least 100 feet away. Never use an object to move a downed wire. Don't remove trees or limbs near a downed line. Electricity travels through ground, trees, branches, and more. It's not safe. If you see a downed line, call PUD3 at 360-426-8255.
What is fiber internet? We could bore you with the technical details, or we could tell you it's just internet. Internet that can do whatever you need. Crystal clear video chats with the family, smooth streaming of your favorite shows, uploading a ton of vacation photos in an instant. Even all of the above, all at once. Switch to fiber internet from Hood Canal Communications today and get $25 off your first 4 months of gig speed service. Visit hcc.net or call 360-898-2481.
Kids can't tell when food or drinks include cannabis, especially when the package is fun and colorful. Remember to store in a safe place, out of sight and out of reach. Brought to you by Mason County Public Health and Mason County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition.
This presentation on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, is being brought to you by Mason County Public Utility District Number 1, Washington State's first public utility district, proudly serving the Hood Canal in Mason County since 1935.
Bottom of the 6th inning. New pitcher for Port Angeles. Their 4th, 5th here as Cody Williams will take over on the mound. See if we can figure out who's in the infield now. Politica's still at first. De Leon is still at second. And I believe the shortstop. Let's take a look here. Where is he? Now we'll try to figure it out as Williams is in trying to close this thing out. As Bulldogs are leading 5-2. Bulldogs coming up. And it will be Ringstad to lead things off for North Mason here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Just looking for some insurance runs here, I would imagine. They're leading by 3 at this point, 5-2. All 5 of those runs came in the 5th inning. So Williams' first pitch to Ringstad, outside corner, strike 1. 0-1 to Ringstad. Pitch on the way. A little bit low that time, 1-1 the count. So 1 ball, 1 strike to the leadoff batter for North Mason. Ringstad. Pitch on the way. In there for strike 2 called, so 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ringstad. Caden Tencio is on deck. Here's the 1-2 from Williams. Way outside for ball 2, so 2-2 to Ringstad. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, 5-2, North Mason with a lead in a very wet Bulldog baseball field here. Here's the 2-2 swing, and he got a piece of that one. So the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff batter for North Mason here in the 6th. Up 3. Bulldogs so far have 9 hits after being held to only 2 yesterday in Port Angeles. Here's the 2-2 to Ringstad. Outside ball 3, and the count goes full. So here's the 3-2. Swing and a ground ball. It's going to be scooped up there by the shortstop. Throw to first in time to get Ringstad one away for North Mason here in the 6th. So that'll bring up Caden Atencio. And he'll step in to face Williams here. Bulldogs looking to get something going here to keep their distance. One out, nobody on, as Atencio will step in. Wait for the first pitch from the lefty of Williams. Here it comes. Outside, strike one. Hit that corner. So 1-1 to Atencio. Pardon me for sniffing. It's a 5-2 ball game. North Mason with the lead in at bat. Atencio lets one sail behind him. 1-1 the count. And it is a muddy field out there, folks. Started a little bit early, tried to miss the weather, didn't quite get it in. Here's pitch on the way, swing and a miss by Atencio for strike 2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on for North Mason here, leading 5-2. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Williams outside, ball 2, so 2-2 the count to Atencio. Boston Stanley on deck. Here's the kick and the pitch. Swing and a fly ball. Center right. Getting under it is the center fielder, and that's out number 2 for North Mason here in the 6th. So here comes Boston Stanley, now playing third base. And Stanley is 2 for 3 with an RBI. Here's first pitch to Stanley. Outside, strike 1 called. Finding that good location. That Williams is finding that location just a bit, just right on the outside corner of that pitch. Here's the 0-1. Outside again, same spot, strike 2. Stanley will step back in, wait for the 0-2. 2 out, nobody on. And Williams will step off and ask for the signs to go through again. Stanley back in the box. Here's the kick and the fly ball. That's going to right field. That's heading up into the corner. Stanley rounds first, heading for second. Goes for 3. Is Stanley going to stretch it into a triple and a bobble out there? And Stanley has a triple. Two-out triple for Boston Stanley. And here is Danner Jones. Is it Danner Jones? No, it's Prudhoe, excuse me. Dylan Prudhoe will gather up the bat and head to the plate. He's now the pitcher. 2 out, 1 on. Boston Stanley over at third base. Prudhoe waits for first pitch from Williams. Swings and hits a little looper. Is going to get in there, and grabbing it on the run will be the shortstop. And that'll be that for the Bulldogs here in the 6th. We head to the 7th. Oh, sorry, we didn't have that up. Head to the 7th. 5-2 is our score. It's Mason Web TV, powered by HCC. North Mason leading. Port Angeles coming up.
With all the question marks and uncertainty that surrounds today's real estate market, it is nice to know that there is a local team that has the experience with all types of markets to ensure you make a sound decision, whether selling or buying. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate has been a staple in the Mason County community for over 40 years. Feel free to reach out to Jeff, Andy, Chrissy, or Laura with any real estate questions that you may have. When it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works, and it's how we do business at Hood Canal Communications. We know you count on us for value-priced internet, TV, and phone service, backed by friendly local support. Your hard-earned dollars stay right here as we invest in our community, our people, and smart technology. Hood Canal Communications, keeping our community connected while being a good neighbor.
Hi folks, Diedrich Allen with Mason Web TV powered by HCC, your source for live high school sports with play-by-play. Once again, Mason Web TV is broadcasting select games every week this school year. Football, basketball, baseball, softball. We bring you all the action, from the kickoff to the final whistle, from the tip-off to the final buzzer, from the first pitch to the last out. Watch how it happens on Mason Web TV powered by HCC. Business owners, you can get in on the action as well. Go online, email, call, or text right now to find out how.
Alex Angevine will lead things off, top of the order for the Port Angeles Roughriders as they're down 5-2 heading to the top of the 7th inning. And Angevine, again, he led off the ball game with a double and then scored in the first inning. It's been quiet since then. The first pitch to him inside for strike one. So 0-1 to Angevine. Angevine's 1 for 2 on the evening, on the day, and did score a run. As I mentioned, here's the 0-1 to him from Prideaux, inside, and that's ball one. Angevine did a little dance on there to miss the, sure that ball missed his feet. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Leadoff batter for Port Angeles here, top of the 7th inning. Riders looking to come back here. They led 1-0 until the 5th inning, and the Bulldogs scored 5 runs in the 5th inning. They added 1. The Riders did add 1 in the last half inning, and now here they're at their last 3 outs. There's a pitch in there, it's a little high for ball 2. So 2-1 the count to Angevine. Here's next pitch on the way. Outside, ball 3, so 3-1 to Angevine. Williams on deck. Now pitching for Port Angeles, but it's 3 balls and 1 strike to Angevine. Pitch on the way, that'll be ball 4, so there's a base runner for the Riders. 1 on and nobody out. Here's Cody Williams stepping in. Williams is 1 for 2. One on, nobody out. Here's a pitch on the way. Ball gets away from Rice, and Angevine makes his way to second base. So runner in scoring position for the Riders. Nobody out. And Williams has a 1-0 count. In a 5-2 ball game, top of the 7th. Home plate umpire calls time, tells Williams to step up a little bit. He's outside the box. Kind of hard to see. There is hardly a box to look at. A lot of quick dry out there. Here's the 1-0 to Williams from Prideaux. It's going to be right down the middle of the plate, but a bit low for ball 2. So 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 on, nobody out. Angevine takes a lead at second base. Williams waiting for the 2-0 from Prideaux. Swinging a ground ball is going to just go foul at the first base line. So 2-1 the count to Williams. So here's the 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 on, nobody out for Port Angeles here. Pitch on the way. That's going to be ball 2, or ball 3, excuse me. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Williams waits for the 3-1. Nobody out and 1 on. Here's a pitch on the way. Strike down the middle of the plate for strike 2 as the count goes full to Williams. Floodstrom on deck. Angevine at second base. Williams has a full count. Dylan Prideaux on the mound for North Mason. It's a 5-2 ball game. Top of 7th. Prideaux looks back at second, pitches to the plate. It's going to be outside, and that gives the runners at first and second now. And here is Floodstrom. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Rice will go out to the mound, talk things over to Prideaux. So again, runners at first and second. Angevine is at second. Williams is at first. Nobody out, and a 3-run game. It's a 3-run lead for North Mason here, 5-2. Floodstrom steps in, waits for the first pitch from Prideaux in relief of Stanley today. Holds that bat high. Here's the pitch on the way. In there for strike 1. So 0-1 the count. Nobody out, 2 on. 5-2 ball game. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a ground ball. Scooped up there by Schumacher. Throw over to first for the out there. And that's out number 1. Runners do advance, so the runners are now at second and third for the Riders with 1 down. And here is Ryland Politica, the batter. Politica is 1 for 3 this afternoon. Here's first pitch to him. A little bit high for ball 1. Runners again at second and third. 2 runners in scoring position for the Riders. Angevine at third. Williams at second. Next pitch on the way is going to be low, ball 2. So 2 balls and no strikes to Politica. Shumway on deck. Politica ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing, and that one's going to be fouled back. Strike 1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out, 2 on for Port Angeles here. Ryland Politica at bat for Port Angeles. Cody Williams at second. Alex Angevine at third. Here's the pitch on the way. Way outside for ball 3, so 3 balls and 1 strike to Politica. Getting the score 5-2. North Mason with the lead. Top of the 7th. Port Angeles at bat. Olympic League baseball for you. Here's pitch on the way. Inside, and that will be a walk to load the bases. With 1 out. And that'll bring up number 23, Jordan Shumway. And Jordan is 1 for 2 today. I get a pinch runner for Politica over there at first base. So it's Angevine at third, Williams at second, and number 7 will come in. run for Politica, and that's Smithson. Ian Smithson over at first base for the Roughriders. Trailing in this ball game 5-2. And Shumway will step up. Face Prideaux here. In the 7th inning. And 1 out. Hanson will just tell me that there's a new runner on first base. So bases are loaded, 1 out. Shumway, the batter for Port Angeles, waiting for the first pitch. Pitch on the way. Inside strike 1 called. Hit that inside corner. So no balls, 1 strike, 1 out, 3 on for Port Angeles here in the top of the 7th. Tying run potentially at first base. Pitch on the way, inside, and that will be ball 1-1-1. Not sure what Shumway was doing. I thought he was heading to first base. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 3 on for Port Angeles, top of the 7th inning. 5-2 the score, North Mason with the lead. Here's a pitch on the way. Popped up, it's playable. Rice coming back toward the fence. Got it. Out number 2. So 2 away for Port Angeles here. And that'll bring up number 1. And that's Baston. So 2 away, the bases are still loaded. Smithson at first, Williams is second, and Angevine at third for the Riders outside on that first pitch to Baston. Ball 1. Dylan Prideaux on in relief. Boston Stanley here. Got the bases loaded and 2 out. And a 1 ball, no strike count to Baston. Pitch on the way. Fly ball, center field. And they're getting it, and that is it. Jones will record the final out, and that will do it. Bulldogs come back and take this game over Port Angeles 5-2. We'll take a timeout. We'll be right back. It's Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job. It's our promise.
Kids learn by watching adults, so consume cannabis out of sight of young people. And be a Mason County kid's greatest influence. Brought to you by Mason County Public Health and the Mason County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition.
This broadcast on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, is being made possible by Mason Health, United Community, Empowered People, Exceptional Health.
There's so many great things about life in Mason County, and Hood Canal Communications is proud to be one more. Headquartered in Union, we offer the speed and reliability your family needs, backed by hometown service and support. Whether you need to just check email or power all those Wi-Fi devices around your home, HCC has the right package for you. Stop by one of our friendly offices, call or visit hcc.net to learn more. Hood Canal Communications, keeping our community connected.
An important safety reminder from Mason PUD3. Please never touch a downed power line. If a power line falls on your vehicle, stay inside and call 911. Tell others to stay back, wait for emergency personnel. Never touch anyone or anything in contact with a downed power line. Always stay at least 100 feet away. Never use an object to move a downed wire. Don't remove trees or limbs near a downed line. Electricity travels through ground, trees, branches, and more. It's not safe. If you see a downed line, call PUD3 at 360-426-8255.
Well, it's a final here in Belfair. The North Mason Bulldogs pick up their first Olympic League win, knocking off the Port Angeles Roughriders 5-2. They came back from a 1-0 deficit, scored 5 runs in the 5th inning, and held on for a 5-2 win over Port Angeles. Some quick totals here. Austin Stanley 3 for 4 with an RBI, a triple as well. Also recording hits for Doe, Schumacher, Kelly Forey, and 3 for 3 was Danner Jones on the afternoon. Stanley, let's see here, he pitched 6 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So that will pretty much do it for here. Take a look here. Next up for the Bulldogs, they travel to Chimcomb Saturday and face East Jefferson. Rough Riders host Nathan Hale on Friday. Of course, all that's weather permitting. Our next broadcast is Friday when the Shelton Fast Pitch Softball team hosts the River Ridge. First pitch is 4 p.m. Our next broadcast for North Mason is March 31st when the Fast Pitch Softball team hosts North Kitsap. And that will do it for us in Belfair. Final score again, North Mason 5, Port Angeles 2. We'll talk to you Friday. You have been watching High School Sports on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.
The preceding presentation on Mason Web TV, powered by HCC, has been brought to you by Hood Canal Communications, committed to providing quality services that exceed customer expectations in voice, video, data, and customer service, keeping our community connected since 1934. Mason County Public Health and Human Services Prevention Education Partners Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition. Mason PUD 3, connecting our community with safe, reliable, economical, and sustainable services 24/7. The Conklin team at Windermere Real Estate. When it comes to real estate, nothing compares to local knowledge. Mason County Public Utility District Number 1, Washington State's first public utility district, proudly serving the Hood Canal in Mason County since 1935. And Mason Health, united community, empowered people, exceptional health.
Thanks for watching Mason Web TV, powered by HCC.